think we've got maximum headroom here. Max headroom, right? Remember the old kind of animated guy, Max Headroom. Kind of winging it here. That's the reason we got so much max headroom above me. In the skies above me, I'm going to first key y'all in on a little drink here. Basis Texas favorite. And we take, there's already some in here, but we take 1 part Kahlua, which is a liqueur from Mexico, right? Put in a nice little part of that. Then we take 1 part of Espolón, a tequila, 100% agave from Mexico, right? Mexico, just a little bit down the road from here. We're in Texas right now. Put about 1 part of that. This is a modified, well, I'm fixing to tell you what the name of this drink is. And it's a modified White Russian. And then, so here we go, not using, I should use heavy cream, but here we have milk, vitamin D milk. Putting that in there. Shoot boy, out of shoot boy, riding wildfire. Mix it up. Then add a little bit more Kahlua, or just go ahead and throw in the rest of the bottle there, right? And you have a modified White Russian. The only difference being a technical White Russian would be made with vodka, but we're here in Texas, so we're drinking a modified White Russian. And one of my favorite drinks, one of the favorite drinks here at Basis Texas, and I wonder who else's favorite drink it may be. First person that comes to mind is Donald Trump. Hey, Donald Trump, White Russian. Right here you go, bud. Cheers to you, huh? And so on the subject of Donald Trump, love him, hate him, revere him, revile him. It brings to mind things that we've had shows on recently, and this is information that's just come into my orbit, so to speak, within the last couple of months. But this information about Donald Trump is actually very new. I can't remember if this was revealed on the Basis 67 with Miles Johnson, Basis 67 Part 4. That was about a month ago, and that video had 5,000 views in the first week. And we thank Miles Johnson for everything he's doing for the truther community. And not only that, in general, but bringing, our message out there as well. And we thank you, Miles. But there's been many things that have been learned since then. And I'm going to get into some of those. But let me, on the subject of Donald Trump, let me tell you that I'm related to Donald Trump. Okay? So, congratulate me, hate me, whatever you're going to do, hold your horses before I tell you the next fact. Because I am also related to Slow Joe Biden, the President of the United States. Here to you, Joe. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm related to Donald Trump, and I'm related to Joe Biden. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Throughout this, my journey through genealogy, and just outright doubting all this stuff, just the sheer, pomposity of it all, the sheer volume of it all, is literally unbelievable. But that's why on the couple of shows that I've been on, and I was on Randy Moggin, we took the show for Randy Moggin's, I don't know if it was Eye of the Needle or Off Planet Radio, almost 2 weeks ago, I think. And I don't know if that's been published yet, but we shot that out of a hotel room in Dallas, Texas. I was doing some work down there. And even at that time, and even at the time of the taping with Miles Johnson on his show, personally, I was doubting many of these facts that I was learning. And let me tell you, folks, these facts have been checked out. And I, in fact, gave my name, my real name, which is not a secret anyway. I am Ayin Thropos, all right? Okay, Ayin Thropos, here on this show, in my music, with my books that I write, everything like that. Ayin Thropos, And it's not a secret that I was born with a different name, and I have a different name that is used in day-to-day business, and stuff like this. And this is Durward King Mahon, Durward, King, King, Mahon, Mahon. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it is not a secret, but also because of this genealogy discoveries that we've been making. And of course, that's under my real name. And so, not to confuse the audience, not to confuse you, just trying to put that out there. And so we checked and rechecked these facts. Astounding as it is, they are true. They check out, and I put my name out there and stuff like this, wanting even people who are doubting my story to check these facts. And you can, in fact, check these facts yourself, because I've just given you my real name, and you can check these facts and the story that I'm telling you. And I want you to, because here's the deal. This is the truther community. The truther community is like the spirit of the cosmos. It is not a respecter of personages, all right? We're after the truth. We're not after ego or self-aggrandizement or anything like this. We want to know the motherfucking truth. And I want to know the truth. And if I've been misled, if I've been deceived on any of this stuff, even some of it, I want to know. And I want the people to know, especially if I've said something erroneously. So far, that has not come up. Okay. These things have been checked, rechecked, different databases and stuff like this. And in fact, I have been in touch with professional genealogical experts, people who do this for a living, from Salt Lake City, Utah. And they are baffled. They are baffled. One of these men has said he's never seen anything like this in his entire career. The sheer number of what they call notable people that I'm related to is off the motherfucking chain. And it's somewhat disturbing, And however, if this was some big charade, or if I've somehow been lied to, or these people are being lied to that have checked all this stuff out, that's even scarier. To think that there was some agency or agencies out there that, for what Lord knows what reason, would want to deceive me and others into thinking these things. I can't imagine why, but these motherfuckers with a hidden hand, you know how they are, huh? Full of lies. Full of motherfucking lies. As a matter of fact, everything we've been taught almost our entire life is a lie. Even the dating, we know now about Scaliger and the Jesuit priest who they somehow stuffed maybe 1,100 years of fake years within the last 2,000 years. In other words, out of the chronology of the last 2,000 years that we have in the history books that we still teach kids in school and in college, over half of it is fake or just made up. That's for sure true. Okay. But that is actually going more back towards 2,000 years ago and stuff like this. And if there is a reality to the Jesus myth or man or reality, whatever that is, and we're starting to get some indications that, although there's lots of, misleading obfuscation. Listen, I don't even want to get into that subject. All right. I'm not going to go there. Y'all know that I'm not a Christian. When people find out that someone's not a Christian, you think, an unbeliever. No, I didn't say I'm an unbeliever. I said that I'm not a Christian, okay? Where I'm at with Jesus is I'm uncertain, okay? But his dad, right? That's very real. Frighteningly real. Frighteningly real. And I can tell you at this time, that all Western Hermetic orders, all fraternal secret societies in the West, they don't worship, they honor a deity called Ealdabaoth. And Ealdabaoth has another name that you may be more familiar with, and that is Jehovah. Otherwise known as the false pretender God. And I'm not going to get into that. I'm not here to alienate myself from Christians. Although I'm not a Christian, I am pro-Christian. In other words, if there comes a day, and there certainly will, When they draw a line in the sand and they say, which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be over here? Are you going to be Islam or are you going to be Christian? On whose side are you on? You know whose side I'm on. I'm on the Christian side. All right? Onward, Christian soldiers marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus moving on before Christ the royal sin. Okay, listen, I was raised in the Methodist Church, First United Methodist Church, and I was raised and trained in their music program, in their boys choir, and the particular church that I went to in Lubbock, Texas, has the second biggest rose stained glass window in the United States for, you know, a Protestant type religion. And they have the third biggest pipe organ. We're talking about an instrument that is massive. Massive. They're not telling you how many millions of dollars it's worth. We all thought that it was old, as in, you know, 30 or 40 years old, something like this. We're learning a lot of things, okay, about this Tartarian reality. The building of the First United Methodist Church in Lubbock is for sure, at the very least, a mock-up of a Tartarian edifice. I can't grasp the fact that it actually might be a Tartarian edifice itself, just because Lubbock, Texas is such a new town, you know, historically speaking, you know, founded in 1850 or something like this. But I am here in Mason, Texas. Get it? Mason, Texas. I mean, you just can't make this shit up, right? I'm here in Mason, Texas, and moved here to get ready for the coming storm. You know, I'm off the grid, kind of. I could get off the grid very easily. And we're out here, you know, well water, and we're not generating our own electricity, but we could. And whatever happens in the coming weeks, in the coming months, in the coming years, whether it's martial law, civil war, social unrest, social upheaval, whatever it may be, whatever faces it may take in different parts of the country, because it certainly won't be the same everywhere in the United States. It'll have different aspects. You're gonna be better off in the country. I mean, that's just common sense. You know, whatever happens, it's gonna be worse in the cities. Mark my words. Mark my words right here, right now. It's going to be worse in the cities. And that being said, not all cities are the same. And not all cities are going to be the same when the shit goes down. And I'm a big believer in Austin, Texas. I love Austin, Texas. It's the #1 city in the world, even though I'm not living there right now. But for many years, I broadcast from there, this very show. And I think, in my opinion, that Austin, Texas is one of their golden cities, one of their sheltered cities. In other words, so whatever happens in other cities in the United States, it's not going to be as bad in Austin, Texas. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I think. That's what I think, because the powers that be, these despotic, you know, people that are bringing about the destruction of our society, if they haven't already, by crashing the dollar, by crashing the economy, by at the very least crashing the restaurant business, right? We don't live in the same world right now that we lived in only a couple of years ago. We just don't. It's harder for young people to see this than older people. Older people who grew up with and lived in a country where the majority of the people had some type of moral fiber, had character, and they just seemingly don't anymore. Or at least anyone under the age of 30 years old seemingly doesn't. And I'm not trying to target that age group, but y'all don't know what it's like, man. Y'all don't know what it's like to grow up in the world that we grew up in. And it was pointed out to me just the other day that people who are only 10 years older than me grew up in a different reality than I did. I mean, they consider me, you know, a type of tech whiz or something like this just because of the age that I was growing up in. Things have accelerated. Things have accelerated. I did not grow up in the flower power age, you know, or the 60s or anything like this. I was born in the 60s, okay? The late 60s, very late 60s. That's all I'm going to say. But no, I grew up with even the 70s groups. You know, I was familiar with them and came to love them later, you know. But I'm a product in many ways of the '80s, you know, Def Leppard, you know, John Bon Jovi, Iron Maiden, right? If you've ever seen the movie Rockstar with anyway, that young talented actor who played in the movie Rockstar, starred in it. Rockstar was very loosely based on a real band, and that is Judas Priest. You know, and there's a, you know, not getting into any of that story, but the movie is actually based on that. And Judas Priest is amazing. Judas Priest is amazing. Kiss is amazing. Ronnie James Dio is like a god, okay? I played in rock and roll bands, heavy metal bands my entire life, and at one point in the early 90s, I had to forsake my heavy metal heritage and shun that, turn my back on that type of music and embrace the new type of music, the screamo, emo, gmo, whatever you want to call it, you know, the new metal, the new heavy metal, the Hatebreed, Lamb of God, you know, Whitechapel, where it was more of a type of screaming than it was a melodic vocal, and I had to learn how to like that, because that's the future of metal. And no one can deny that metal has some of the best musicians in the world, virtuosos in fact. You can't even be in a garage band playing in front of, you know, some local, you know, kids or something like this. Well, maybe you can at that, but even being one level above that, you cannot be at that level in heavy metal without each member of the band having absolute mastery of their instrument. That's how demanding heavy metal and extreme metal music is. Love it or hate it, okay, it's not country music, all right? It does not take a rocket scientist. It does not take the most talented, you know, person in the world to play country music, okay? Nothing against country, all right? But heavy metal's different. It takes dedication and a lifetime of perseverance, and these are people with the inborn talent. Now the singers can be, there's a lot more leeway right there, but yeah, the other members of the band, the true musicians, and not saying the singers are not musicians, because that's what I am. They've really got to have their chops. They really do. So, what is the focus? What is the subject of this video right here? This is the second video I've taped today. We got out here with the GoPro Hero 9, which is a new camera that we have here at Basis, Texas, and I got out here. The battery's kind of dead, and I don't have the power supply, and I don't have a USB-C cord. Don't want to get into that. All right. Well, hey, why don't we film this episode with one of the best cameras in the world, which happens to be the best phone in the world, or maybe second best now that they've got the iPhone 12. I'm filming this, what you're looking at right now is being filmed with a $1,300 camera slash phone, whatever, the iPhone Pro Max, right? Astounding picture. Pretty good sound. I've got a little sound condenser mic system that can hook up to it and stuff. It's not hooked up now, but I know, and I'm in full confidence that y'all are able to hear me and hear my voice and hear me enunciate these words very clearly right now. I'm in full confidence of that as I drink my White Russian. In later news, or in recent news, breaking news, whatever, and I have announced this before, I have joined a gang. Not that I may or may not have been in any types of gangs behind bars or affiliated with anything, in the past. We don't know, because I've never revealed anything like that, whether or not I have or not. But I'm in a gang now of, it's gonna sound like a teenager's wet dream or something like this. essentially a gang of vampires. Okay, and I'm not a vampire. I don't know what is a vampire. I'm not sure. Okay, you can read Aleister Crowley's Magic Without Tears, and it gives definitions of a vampire. And the definition, he tells a story of a woman who's a middle-aged woman, at least, probably older than that, who's just a vivacious personality, but she was surrounded by men younger than herself, and we get the idea that she's drawing energy, drawing power from these men. You know, the idea that not all vampirism is possibly negative, but I am talking about an organization that is what I'm just going to call the Tim Rifat organization. Tony Stark Rifat. And they have Facebook group. Oh wait, just come to think of it, you cannot get into the Facebook group. It's called Supernatural Spirit Magic, something like that. I'm a member of it. It's a private Facebook group, and to gain membership to this group, you have to be someone who's purchased some of these products or services from the Tim Rifat organization, which I have. So I am a member. And you know, what are these products and services? Well, there's, you know, you just go online and you can make these discoveries, but you cannot buy any products or any services from Tim Rifat or the Tim Rifat organization unless you first buy a magic kit. Okay, and I bought one of these magic kits. I have it at my place back in Mason. So what is in the magic kit? Well, you know, I'm not going to get into that right now. I will tell you that the magic kit right now, I think it may be fixing to go up in price, but the magic kit at the time that I bought it was $1,200. So the thing is, you better be pretty fucking serious about joining this gang, or, you know, they don't call it a gang. I'm calling it a gang, okay? I'm not a spokesman for this organization. I have no, you know, authority whatsoever to speak for this organization. I'm just telling you my personal testimony and the fact that I am involved with these people. And, you know, the question has come about between me and another member, is Tim Rifat a good person? I mean, I'm the one that had the question. Is Tim? Now, I like Tim Rifat. He's cool. He's a cool motherfucker. I like him a lot. And he's very cavalier. Okay, he's somewhat jovial, but he's very intense and very serious. And he's angry with a couple of groups of people, or seemingly angry. I'm not going to put that on him. But he does not mince words, and he does not fuck around. And this is a man you do not want to fuck with. Okay. C.W. Chanter is a you know, I'm not gonna say a friend of mine, but he's a colleague of mine, and I'm not even gonna say we've had our differences, but and I'm not even gonna sit here and tell you that C.W. Chanter is a Freezoner. I'm not gonna tell you that. I don't know that for a fact. Well, what is a Freezoner? You know, and I'm not trying to change subjects here. I did not know what a Freezoner is. A Freezoner, ladies and gentlemen, a Freezoner is someone who practices or adheres to the belief system, or maybe the practices of Scientology without being associated with the Church of Scientology. That's what a Freezoner is. And, you know, the first person that comes to mind is Freeman. You know, I can't remember his name. His last name is Freeman, and he has his organization, his, you know, truther show is called the Free Zone. I was like, wait, hold on a second. And there's something in Alex Jones. I can't remember the Alex Jones show. There's some. Oh no, Alex Jones has the concept of Alex Jones, a prison planet. Oh God, prison planet. You know, like planet Earth. Well, let me tell you, prison planet. That is a. Actually, that I don't know that that's a. Well, yeah, okay. Scientology, right? Ron L. Hubbard. Okay, whether it's from one of his fiction books or not, that is a freeze. That is a Scientology, I guess you'd say, concept. Now, am I a member of Scientology? No, I'm not. Am I a Freezoner? No, I am not. Am I against the Church of Scientology? No, I am not. I'm not speaking out against them. It's not my cup of tea. I'll say that much right now. I will never be a member of the Church of Scientology. And I doubt I will ever be a Freezoner, okay? But I did find it interesting that there are some concepts and philosophies within the Church of Scientology that I am in sympathy with, or at least one that I know of, and I can tell you what it is right now, and that is their disdain, and I'm not going to say outright hatred because that's kind of a strong word, but their antipathy or their resentment or their protest against psychiatry, the so-called science of psychiatry, which I'm wholeheartedly against. And that takes a lot of nuts to say that when you realize what I realize. And that is the reality of the police. Now, when I see the police, many people have images invoked within their minds of the boys in blue. You know, the guys with the badges and the macho type stance that have the badges and the guns, right? They've got guns, they've got all kinds of stuff. They can pull you over on the side of the road when you're, when you're driving down the highway for maybe driving too fast or something like this. And they, arbitrarily search your vehicle or something like this against your constitutional rights. They can do all kinds of fucking shit. It's fucked up. But guess what? That's not the police. That is not the police. The people in the cars with the guns, with the badges, that's not the police. Welcome to reality. The police in this realm that you're living in right now are the guys kind of like in the white lab coats, with the little pin, things here, the glass. They have a lot of letters behind their name, like PhD and stuff like this. They are the psychiatrists. Who can put you in jail without a judge's order? Who can incarcerate you indefinitely based on just their opinion? The psychiatrists can do this. In this day and age, and in our country, they can do this. The Constitution does not apply. Okay? If you really piss one of those motherfuckers off, you can get a goddamn lobotomy or a chemical lobotomy. Just like they did to Wilhelm Reich. Wilhelm Reich, a beacon of humanity, one of the greatest human beings that ever lived, was cast into a psychiatric ward, a psychiatric confinement or prison, and was given electro-shock therapy. Okay, you cannot see it right now, but I'm, This is plugged into the wall right now. I could take some leads, some electrodes right here, and I'm a low voltage wiring technician. This is high voltage. There's 110 volts coming through here. If you put 2 copper wires out here and put it on somebody's skin, they're going to feel it, and they ain't going to like it. And they're going to be like losing consciousness. Their body's going to go like this. You can die from this. You can die from this. And electro-shock therapy, it has a different name now, electro-convulsive. I'll give, you can look it up on Google, all right? Sticking a human being up to the wall, okay? That's fucking satanic. Putting electricity like this 110 volts through a motherfucking human body, that's wrong. If you're doing that, if you're involved in that, if you support that, you're wrong. Well, just about every, not only psychiatrist, but every psychologist in the United States is a member of the American Psychiatric Association, whatever the fuck they call themselves. And you're wrong, man. You're wrong. You are an instrument against humanity. Every psychiatrist, every psychologist, shame on you. Shame on you for being an enemy of humanity. I'm calling you out right now. And look, and what are the consequences? What could be the punishment for that? I wonder, huh? Sticking that shit up to you, huh? You fuck around, huh? Don't play that game. It gets even more insidious than this. It is a known practice, and it is sanctioned by the American Psychiatric Association to give this electro-shock therapy to children. Let me find out. Let me find out that you're the one that put this on a child. I don't care what their behavioral problems might be, huh? Let me find out that you were involved in this. You were the nurse that was sitting there. You were the orderly that was holding them down. You were the damn janitor of the goddamn building, cleaning up the fucking shit stains and everything else of where they were putting this on children, huh? Let me find out! Let me find out! There's going to be a day of reckoning, all right? And the heads are going to roll, all right? And I'm just going to be just as cool as I am right now. And I'm not going to be angry. And I ain't going to be mad at you. But if it's within my power to have you walked behind the courthouse and shot in the head, your life is worth less than the cost of that bullet. This is not the reality. I'm making no threats. Anyone who thinks I'm making any type of threat right now is a fucking imbecile. Because I have a team of attorneys that are some of the best attorneys in Austin, Texas, and fuck you. I know what I'm saying. I know what's coming out of my mouth. You can't fuck with that. I'm talking about in a different reality, in a different world, in a parallel timeline, whatever. When the society breaks down, it's going to be hell to pay. Listen to me. It's going to be hell to pay because when they break down the society, which they've been planning for quite some time, and they're in the process of it, and it is going to happen in some way. The remnants of the police, the severely weakened police forces, will team up with organized criminal gangs, most of them from Guatemala and other war-torn countries that our alphabet agencies have destabilized over the last 40 or 50 years. And your neighborhood will be controlled by armed gangs and criminal organized crime. In answer to this, after so many rapes, after so many, miscarriages of justice, after so much crime and harassment and rape and pillaging and terrorism, outright terrorism, the people themselves, wherein the power resides, and the power always resides with the people themselves will cry out for saviors. They will cry out for retribution, they will cry out for justice, and they will cry out for heads to roll at this time. From amongst the people or from other places, where if they hire mercenaries, whatever they do, whatever it takes, there's going to be a phenomenon which is what I call, and these are the times that we are just on the cusp of the gambit of, and this is the age of the rise of the strong men. Think Mogadishu. Regional warlords, okay? How do I know this? How do I know this? I know this because I'm one of these men. Okay? Love them, like them, hate them, whatever. I'm one of these men, and you can do away with me. There's 100 motherfuckers behind me to step up to the role in different regions of the country. As fractured as this country may get, and it's going to play out. It's going to look different in different parts of the country. I can assure you that. These regions are not all going to be the same, but the strong men will rise. The strong men will rise, and it is up to you, the general public. When you see this man rising amongst your midst, because all of your citizens are calling out, begging this man to come forward to take control of the situation. It's up to you. It's up to you to make sure that this man has a moral fiber, to make sure he has a moral compass, to make sure that this is the type of person that you want calling the shots and the judgment of life and death amongst the people that you live with in your area. And if that man is not, if this man is a counter, against, if he has no sense of morality, is a psychopath or something like this, is you must meet among yourselves, and you must elect a group of men amongst yourself, and these men must, without your knowledge, work in secret to assassinate this would-be strongman. It's your responsibility. This is up to you. It's your future. It's your life. It's your family. It's up to you. Because when this man gets to a certain level of power, it will be difficult, if not impossible, to remove him. And you will be under the thumb and under the rule of a despotic strongman. And it doesn't matter if down the road, 30 miles down the road or something like this, there is a strongman who's actually worth a fuck as a human being. You're under this one who's a fucking piece of shit. And I'm letting you know right now how this is going down. It's up to you. The people, the power is always with the people. And that fact gets lost sight of in things like Soviet, in the Soviet era, Russia, and, the Bolshevik revolution and all these things, where Stalin came to power. Stalin, if you look up in Bartlett's familiar quotations, Stalin had a famous quotation, and his quotation was this: "A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic. A statistic. A million deaths is a statistic." All right. A single death is a tragedy, but a million deaths is a statistic. What is this mindset? What are we looking at here? We're looking at someone who has gained power, who's a madman, who has no... And fascinatingly enough, there were a couple of occasions within his rule, within his life, that he was confronted and accosted by people who came and accused him and just put him down and walked away without any punishment whatsoever. And these were people that he grew up with as children. People that he knew as children came and told him, no, you don't do that. Shame on you. And he had to let him go. What are you going to do? Look at your childhood friend and say, off with their head, put them in the gulag or whatever? What the fuck are you going to do? I mean, even if you are a psychopath, which he was, and Pol Pot, and, maybe Hitler, and, Mussolini and all these, what are you... Listen, it's one thing to have a million deaths is a statistic and see the sea of faces out there, cringing in fear. But what are you going to do when you're faced with your childhood friend, someone you're friends with, when you were fucking 10 years old? Nothing. You're powerless. Because there's still some vestige of humanity left in you. So you let him walk. And you let that become a part of history. You have that person assassinated, you are a piece of shit. And you got to live with that. You are a piece of shit anyway, all right? But then you become a piece of shit that you got to live with. You got to realize that, huh? You ain't going to do that, huh? That's it? Let me say, in closing, let me say one thing. And this is coming from my heart. And this is talking to all of y'all, all the Truther community and everyone. My final say on this video, I'll say this humbly and with full earnestness. I love you all. I always have. Let no one stand in my way. Please, don't go there. We've all got our job to do. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you all.